Good afternoon, people. Watch Women 65. Lisa Boyce here. I just got something off Jerusalem Post about Netanyahu. It says High Court green lights Netanyahu's coalition deal. It says a maximum 11-judge panel of High Court justice at close to midnight on Wednesday green lighted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to form the next government, as well as controversial aspects of the blue and white Likud coalition deal. Despite misgivings about the grave charges pending in the bribery indictment against Netanyahu and aspects of the coalition deal, the justices voted unanimously that they could not intervene. This is pretty big news. Says ultimately the justices said there was a two-part test to giving Netanyahu the green light. First, they said he was not automatically disqualified by law, since the Knesset law only automatically disqualifies a prime minister who was convicted and exhausted all his appeals. Second, they said the court could still review the discretion of any appointment. The question then became who is appointing the prime minister. The justices ruled that the Knesset is the body that appoints the prime minister and that they must give heavy deference to such an inherently political decision. It says further, the justices said it could be disastrous for an internal body such as the court to intervene with this process absent a case much more extreme than the one before. In theory, the second step to the legal analysis preserved the judge's role in judicial review and their theoretically ability to fire a future indicted prime minister. In practice, the justices made it clear that they were in no mood to challenge the will of the Knesset, even for a bribery charge, which is viewed as the most severe of white-collar crimes. The signs were already there on Sunday that it would be hard for the petitioners to force out Netanyahu. Even then, it appeared that at least a majority of 6, if not more, of the justices were leaning toward green-lighting Netanyahu. The decision is expected to come before the May 7th deadline to form a government. That's tomorrow, which is also the second Passover. Interesting. Movement on the quality of government in Israel lawyer. I'm not even going to say this person's name because I butcher names. So you will read it when I link it in the description box. But anyway, he tried on Sunday to shook the justices into ruling against Netanyahu. He tried, not shock. I didn't mean to say shook. Shock the justices into ruling against Netanyahu. He said if the High Court accepted Netanyahu as prime minister, you will have destroyed your decades of precedent of whatever, which forces ministers to resign upon indictment. He also said Attorney General Avance attempts to defend Netanyahu were a torturous mix of contradictory approaches to interpreting the law. So in other words, they gave him the green light for this. I'm going to link this in the description box. If something else comes out about this, I will come back on with it. But in the meantime, they've given him the green light to go ahead and form a government. So I thought I'd come on with that. So I'll be back later if anything else comes up. Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.